I can make the exact same sound as it. See, I could have been an air pump in another life, but I lost my calling. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Garden of Voo. Ow! You son of a gun. I am going to trim your nails one of these days. Welcome back to the Garden of Voo. My name is Ray. I am the host of this green nonsense I call the Voodoo Garden. This is my air pump. I had to bring it over with me because I didn't want to disconnect it over there. And this is my project. Yes, this is my project. This is a tomato plant, of course. But this is a success failure that I wanted to show you today because it's something that is a work in progress. It is a work in progress. I've been doing hydroponics as an experiment, just as an experiment, not as an everyday thing, but it's something that I just wanted to try out to see if I could do it and if I could do it a certain way. Normally, hydroponics relies, I'm not saying every single one because every time I do absolutes I get beat up and thrown out back with the garbage. Normally, when people do hydroponics, they put it in a container of solution and they feed it an artificial fertilizer because that directly feeds the plants. Whereas I grow organic gardening and that's where I feed the soil and the soil feeds the plants. There's a middleman there and I like that middleman. I was wondering if I could do hydroponics and bypass that middleman and well, maybe not bypass the middleman, but do it in a watery solution, which not too awful many people have done. I did it. It worked fine. I went on to the next step, and I'm doing a tomato plant. Now, if you want to see all my hydroponics, if you go to the front page of the Voodoo Garden and look down there, it says playlists. I just spit at you. I'm really sorry. It says playlist. Click that. It'll show you just a few programs that I have. It's not a ton of them, so you can actually sit back and watch from beginning to end. And actually, it's not the end yet. This is a continuation. Now, that being said, I am having some issues here. I am having good and I am having bad. Ray's balance is going nuts today. So I want to show you the good and the bad and also show you my solution to that. And so this is something that I think is going to probably help you if you decide to go with hydroponics and do it the way that I'm doing it, or my solution is also going to help you with your everyday gardening, even if you do soil. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this pump in here in the soil so it doesn't go on the ground because I don't want it to yank the tubes or anything. Come on over here. Have a seat. Have a seat on the ground. Bring the kids, cats, dogs, everybody. Have a seat and check out my my odd little thing. Well, isn't this cozy? Yep, this is my hydroponics experiment because I'm just kind of winging it. I didn't get any kind of formal education. I just decided to try something. And what I'm doing, in a nutshell, so as not to bore you with long rambling explanations, is I decided to grow a plant in a liquid solution. That liquid solution is my compost tea. On previous programs, you've seen how I do that. I take a bucket, which is right over here to your left. I fill it full of plain tap water. I add in a handful of my dehydrated compost that I make outside. It's made out of chicken manure and grass and all kinds of other good stuff. I compost it all the way down. I dehydrate it and then I store it inside. I take about a handful, toss it into a bucket of water, mix it up. The next day, it's tea. It's just a nutrient extraction. And that's what I've been using for this. This is, well, you really can't see much in here because I can't yank this up or I'll be yanking out the tubes. Actually, yes, I can. If I shove these tubes in farther than they're supposed to go, you know what? I can do this. I can do this because you're my friend and I want to make sure you see this. Now, take a quick look because I can't keep it out of here forever. Here are the roots of the tomato plant. Yes, here are the roots. They're going down into the solution. That dark stuff is nothing more, nothing less than my compost tea. Nothing has been added to it. Nothing's been subtracted from it. This plant is living in a liquid solution. These little beads here that you see at the base of it are nothing more than clay beads that are used to hold the plant upright and for the roots to grow down into. They don't supply anything. They don't take anything away. They're nothing more than marbles that hold up the plant. Now, as you're probably already telling yourself, Ray, that doesn't look so awful great. I mean, it's kind of looking a little bit raggedy. And that's one of the things. Now, the good part is I found a solution. The bad part is I had a problem that I needed to find a solution. Look at this. You may see this on your plants sometimes when you're growing tomatoes, getting them started. The tips, they were starting to die off. and the leaves were looking lighter colored, faded out. And so I was wondering what was going on there. It looked like it was kind of like a calcium deficiency or some kind of a pH issue. And I couldn't figure out what it was, because this is water right out of my well. It's not chlorinated, it's not city water, it's just pure well water sucked out of the ground here in Iowa. Well, I wasn't sure exactly what was going on. My compost tea is good, the system is right, it was doing fine for my other plants. I couldn't figure it out. Well, a friend of mine from Texas, he just messaged me and he said, Ray, you may be having issues with your plants because of a pH issue in your well water. Yes, in my well water, because well water, generally what will happen is it dissolves minerals. That's what well water is. It's from the ground, it's sucked out of the rocks, and it will dissolve minerals. And those minerals, depending on what type of rocks you have around there, it may dissolve minerals, and it changes the pH. It brings it up too high to an alkaline state. And when your pH is really high, that means alkaline. When your pH is low, it means acidic. Now your pH needs to be lower in order for your plants to be able to utilize calcium. If it's too high, they can't utilize calcium that's in the soil. Now a lot of people will have blossom end rot. You've heard of that in your garden with tomatoes and stuff, or leaves being all curled up and stuff at the very top with your pepper plants, or you got little blotches on your peppers, real soft spots. Well, that will have to do with calcium. What it means is that your pH is too high. It doesn't mean that you don't have calcium in your soil, it just means your plant can't utilize that mineral because the pH is too high. So you need to lower it. How do you lower it? You add something that's going to bring it down. Most people will use sulfur. Sulfur will bring it down. Lime, L-I-M-E, lime, is normally added to gardens to add calcium. The only problem with that is it's alkaline, which means it raises the pH, which means you can't even use the calcium that's in that lime. So if you want to add calcium to your soil, what you want to do is add gypsum. Gypsum will add calcium without changing the pH of your soil. And then if you add sulfur, that will bring the pH down to enable your plants to utilize the calcium in the soil. That's how you fix your tomatoes, that's how you fix your peppers, and that's how I would fix this. But I can't do that. No, I can't be adding sulfur to this because this is hydroponics. I don't want to be diluting it in here. I want to just use the compost tea. So what was my solution? Well, my solution was the water. Now, when Eric is my friend down in Texas, he runs a gardening channel too called The More You Grow. And he went to school, so he's got a big, fat, stinking brain full of information. And he helps me every now and then. And that's good because I'm not a sciencey kind of guy. I'm just a winging it off the cuff. Sometimes I make mistakes, more often than you might think. And I try to common sense my way out of it. So I was trying to figure out the common sense reason why this is happening. I totally overlooked the well water issue. So what I did was I tested my well water. Yes, I did. I tested my well water, and I did it the very simple way. You can take a sample of your soil, send it into your state agency or some kind of agency in the state, and you can have your soil tested. They will test it and tell you how your nitrogen, phosphorus, all this stuff is, and your pH. Well, I'm not testing soil, I'm testing water. So what am I going to do? Send in a water sample? Plus, I don't want to wait. That could take forever. So I had this in a drawer. This is a soil test kit that we can do at home, and it's not complicated whatsoever. I'm not endorsing this. I just want to let you know it's called Rapid Test. Rapid Test. I bought it off of eBay. It was relatively inexpensive for all the amounts of testing that you can do with this. It's more than just one test. All right. So what is included in here are little colored pills. Yes, they are. Little teeny up. I want to come to you. I don't want to drag you over here again now that you're standing up. Check this out. You get little baggies of capsules. All different fun colors. All the colors of the rainbow you get. Yes, you do. You also get, whoop, I'm working on this. Hold on. You get these little containers, and you fill up the left side. You put in a little bit of soil, and then you put in one capsule, whichever one you want to test. Pink, blue, green, whatever the test is. Like this one is P. This one is N. N is nitrogen. So say if we wanted to test for nitrogen, I would slide this onto here. I would put in a little bit of soil, put in water, take one of the red capsules, break it open, put the stuff in there, put the lid on. There's a snap-on lid. You shake it up, you let it set for a certain amount of time, and then it will tell you on the scale from clear all the way to red how good your soil is in that particular category. It has blue, it has red, it has green. You know what I'm talking about here. Well, what I did, I want to show you this. All right. Here is the green scale. And I tested my water. And I did it 3 different ways. All right, let me hold this up. I'm going to try and hold this up so that you can see this. Here is my well water. It tested way up on green on the scale. Way up on green, let me put this up here. I don't know if you can see that, but that's way up on the alkaline side. The higher, the greener you get, the more alkaline it is. So my well water was green. No good. No good for raised plants. No, not at all. And then what I did was I have bottled water delivered to my house because I don't drink my well water. I live out in farm country and the farmers use a lot of nitrates and they use a lot of Roundup and things. So the well water, groundwater is generally polluted in that respect, and it may not be so bad for water in the lawn, but I don't want to put it in my body. So I stay on the safe side and I buy bottled water, and I have a pump upstairs and it goes through a faucet. Well, that water is not well water. I tested that, and on here it came through right about in the middle over here. Ooh, I got some on my finger. That's not good. Okay, it came right out of here, and that's about in the middle. Okay, so that's good. I could use bottled water. Only problem is I have to pay for bottled water. That's no good. Ray doesn't want to have to pay for water to water his plants. So I did a common sense workaround. Okay, what I did was, look at this. This is a nice color, and it looks like urine actually, but this is even lower on the pH scale, which is more acidic. This is 5.5 on the acidity scale, and this is my well water. How did I turn alkaline into acidic? Simple. Shake, 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 shake. How did I do it? Very, very easy. I took 1 tablespoon, and I've been recommending this for gardeners for their soil gardening for years. My quick fix is I take 1 tablespoon of regular white vinegar from my kitchen, 1 tablespoon per gallon of water. Just dump it in there, stir it up, and you can bring down the pH, because vinegar is acid. You know, when you bite into a pickle, you're like, ooh. Okay, that is very acid. And so I figured out 1 tablespoon per gallon of water, so I have 5 tablespoons of water, actually 4, a quarter cup. This is 4 gallons of water in this bucket. Stirred it up, tested it out, voila. I have acidic water. Now, this wouldn't be good for everyday watering of every single plant, of course, no. But what it will do is it's going to start counteracting all of the year's worth of watering. See, I have soil that I put together here in the garden, and I also have my hydroponics. Well, the soil, after using my well water all this time, little by little, it is making it more and more alkaline. And so sometimes my plants are looking a little wonky. They get a little faded out, their leaves curl up, and I can't figure out what it is. I keep thinking, well, my compost is good, my soil mix is good. What is the missing factor? There's something going on that I don't quite understand. And now it's all clear to me, and my day just got good. It's the water. It builds up the alkalinity in the water. So now I can counteract it with a more acidic water. Now, of course, if you just want to give it a little bit of acidity, you would add half of that. You just kind of eyeball it. So for generally watering tomatoes and peppers, they like it a little bit more acidic. So if you're watering indoors and you're not quite sure, get yourself a soil test kit. You don't have to send it in and pay any kind of money. You can get a soil test kit for very little money, and you have all the tests that you want that you can do for nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, pH, the 4 basics. There are different kinds of tests, but the 4 basics this will do for you, and it's going to help you out with your soil gardening, and also if your hydroponics are getting a little bit weird like this. So this is going to help my hydroponics. This is helping my gardening, and it all started with a friend with a very large brain. Eric. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate that. Now, he gave me the idea of using peat moss and composted some kind of bark that's acidic. Well, I don't have the option of getting bark, and I don't want to buy peat moss. So this is my workaround. I didn't want to mix peat moss with my soil because not all of my plants are going to like the acidity. So what I can do is I can use my regular well water and just use a little bit of vinegar to bring it up to a neutral state. And then I can use this more acidic water from my tomatoes and my peppers to change the pH and bring them back to life. Now, when I was showing you this plant up close, I don't want to bring the camera up close again, but what I did, well, actually, yes I do, because I have a procedure I want to do. Okay, so have a seat again. I'm all caffeinated up and I am in a hurry to get this done. So I'm going to bring you over here. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with this tomato on the next step of its adventure. The variety of this tomato, by the way, is Mule Team Tomato. This is the one that I grew last year that I ranted and raved and I just would not shut my face up about how delicious it is. It's a very close relative, a brother of Boxcar Willie. Now, Boxcar Willie is the best tasting tomato I've ever had in my life. Problem is, there are different types of Boxcar Willie floating all over the internet, and you don't know which one you're getting when you order the seeds. I liked it one year. I ordered seeds from it. I ordered seeds for it again another year, and it tasted like crap. Like tomato crap. I didn't like it at all. It was flavorless. Turns out it was a different type of seed. There's a lot of different seeds that people call Boxcar Willie that are not true Boxcar Willies. So what I did was I researched. I used my tiny little garden gnome brain. I went online. I found out Mule Team is the brother of Boxcar Willie. Now, whereas Boxcar Willie is a mid-size to small beefsteak, a round one, not very big, Mule Team is a beefsteak brother to Boxcar Willie with all the flavor, not a ton of seeds, not a ton of goo in there. It was exactly what I wanted. Red, ripe, juicy, without the actual goo being juice. It was juice in the flesh, which is very hard to find, and the old-fashioned, rich tomato flavor that I grew up loving. That is the tomato I will be eating for the rest of my life. And I want to grow one this year and save seeds and put them on my website because I know there's a lot of people that might want to try this. So I want to make sure that this plant is going to be absolutely healthy and grow well. I'm going to take cuttings from this, of course, and I'm going to plant it out in the garden. This is not going to be the plant that supplies all the seeds. I just started it here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm cutting off all these old branches. These are the old damaged ones, and once they're damaged like this, they will never come back to life. And it doesn't mean that they're worthless, it's just that they're not operating at peak efficiency. It's like a car running on half its cylinders. Yeah, I can do that, but it's really using a lot of energy that it normally wouldn't be using to get the same distance. So all these old leaves are more of a hindrance than a bonus for it. I'm cutting off all the old stuff. It has a very extensive root system, so I don't have to worry about it not having enough nutrition coming in now that I've corrected the pH. Here we go. And one last thing I want to do for this is I want to take this and I want to top it off, which means prune it back. And where I prune it is right here. Oh, that's vicious, isn't it? Yes, yes it is. But you know me, I like doing stuff like this. And I do it for one reason, and one reason only, to strengthen the plant so that later on in the season it can be strong enough to go out in the garden. This one, of course, is not going out in the garden. What I'm going to do is we're going to have, my growing season doesn't start for another month and a half. I have plenty of time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grow these 4 stems out, actually 5. I'm going to grow them out, and then it's 4 or 5. I'm going to grow them out, take cuttings, and then plant those in my garden. So this is the mother plant that is going to supply me with cuttings to go out into my garden. I just wanted to make sure it was healthy, and correcting the pH issues and then pruning it off so that the new branches that are not affected by the pH issue, because I did this a little while back, and so the new ones are showing the greener color and the more health that they're getting from the corrected pH on this. So I want to thank Eric for helping me, because without his help I would have just been running in circles chasing my tail. Now I have it all figured out, and there's a few other plants like this palm right next to it. It was having lighter colored leaves that were curling over, and I believe that had to do with the pH issue. So there are certain plants in here that are really going to benefit from this revelation that I've had, And this one is one of them. The tomato that grows in liquid. Yes, the hydroponics is doing well. I'm going to keep you updated on this, so don't worry about it. It just smells of summer. You know the smell of tomatoes. My fingers are green. The cuttings smell good. I'm going to throw this in my compost bin right over here and get them to composting down. So nothing goes to waste in the Voodoo Garden. It's all recycled. It's a circle of life here in the Voodoo Garden. I wanted to show you this update because I told you I was going to show you updates, and I always keep my promises. If you have any questions about what I'm doing here or anything having to do with indoor gardening, please feel free to ask me. I will always, like I say on both of my channels, I will always give you the very best answer I possibly can. So that's it for today. I will see you next week right here in the Garden of Voo. Until then, this is Ray and his acidified little friends. We are out of here.